tonight, tomato prices expected to ease in the coming days following renewed security assurances from authorities in both Ghana and Burkina Faso, paving the way for traders to resume imports.
And also coming up tonight, teacher unions NAT and NAGRAT demand urgent action over rising hooliganism by students. Meanwhile, perpetrators following violent assault of students during the games in Agona-Swedu arrested.
Also in the bulletin this evening, we're bringing you this story. Police arrest notorious carjacking syndicate in Ashanti region following multiple robberies and murders across Ashanti and Western regions.
Coming up in business news, pressure mounts on Public Utilities Regulatory Commission for 11% electricity tariff cuts amid claims of 1.5 billion cedis overpayments by consumers.
Much later in international news, Chad shuts border with Sudan in a bid to stop repeated incursions by Sudanese armed groups. Thank you so much for joining us. We're live also on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. We can get interactive there, but let's start the bulletin from here.
We begin with education, and two major teacher unions are demanding urgent action following violent clashes among students in the central region. The Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, and the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, are calling on the Ghana Education Service and the Ministry of Education to develop a comprehensive code of conduct to regulate students' behavior in schools. Labour Affairs correspondent Daniel Opoku has the rest of the story.
The leadership of the two unions is reacting to the recent disturbances at Obrachre Senior High School, where clashes between students escalated into violence. The Ghana Education Service has commenced investigations into the incident. Authorities say the outcome of the probe will determine sanctions for students found culpable, while also outlining long-term measures to curb the recurring violence in schools. General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, Thomas Musatanku, expressed grave concern over the development. He is urging the Ghana Education Service and the Ministry of Education to act swiftly.
We want to see a visible and a tangible action by developing a code to govern the barbaric behavior of some of our students on our campus. Enough is enough. We should walk the talk. We should stop the lamentations anytime when there are matters like this. We gather by the microphones, we gather by the cameras and begin to lament. Who should act? Who should act? The time to act is now. And it is to the ministry to gather us. Let's develop a code now.
On his part, the president of the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, Jacob Anaba, revealed that the association had already written to the Ghana Education Service in 2025, proposing that any student found assaulting another person on campus should face outright dismissal. He said the students involved in the Obrachres incident should be dismissed.
Now, heads cannot sack or cannot suspend a student just because they will be interfered with. So we have to empower authority to work and discipline the student. Now, what is happening more importantly is at the JHS level. We need to start looking at that place before they get to the SHS.
The two unions insist that decisive and immediate action is necessary to restore discipline and ensure safety in Ghana's schools.
Well, the alleged perpetrators following the violent assault of students during the games in Agona-Swedu have been arrested as the Ghana Police Service continues its investigations. The Ghana Education Service has meanwhile put the ongoing inter-schools athletics competition on hold following the violent assault of students during the games in Agona-Swedu. Christabel Sassas-Trevor has the details.
Following violent clashes that left several students injured during the recent inter-school games in Agona-Swedu, the Ghana Education Service has suspended the ongoing athletics competition with immediate effect. This decision was announced after an emergency meeting between the Director General of the Ghana Education Service, the Central Regional Director, and the heads of Obratre Senior High Technical School and Swedru School of Business. Authorities say the meeting was convened to determine what exactly happened, why it happened, and what measures must be implemented going forward.
Over the weekend, we saw video circulating in the media space. Of course, the victim has received medical attention. The perpetrators have also been arrested. About 4 students from Obratre Senior High School have been arrested and in police custody at the moment. If a student goes beyond the fun to perpetuate assault, abuse, violence, the laws of the country should take its course. No death has been recorded. The students, I think about 3 or 4 of them who were victimized have received medical attention and all of them have been discharged.
Officials say more than 1 student was assaulted during the disturbances. At least 4 students were present at the meeting with visible head and facial injuries. The main victim, captured in the widely circulated video, says the attack allegedly began over a dispute about seating arrangements.
The chairs thrown at me when I was looking for a place to sit, so that I'll use the medicine on my eye. That's what happened. I want them to be arrested and anything that the government wants to do to them.
Parents are concerned about the safety of their wards at school.
On Thursday, I went to Winneba and I was submitting my thesis to one of my supervisors at Swedru. So Swedru coming to Bojuase, and then I had a call that my boy got hurt. So he's at the Swedru government hospital. So I rushed and when I went, the teeth got broken and then he was hurt severely.
The Ministry of Education has condemned the incident, warning that severe sanctions await anyone found culpable.
As an immediate step, there's been a suspension of all ongoing sporting activities in the central region for a week, pending the outcome and evaluation of a final report. The outcome of that report will determine whether sporting activities in the central region, as far as secondary schools are concerned, would be allowed to continue or will be truncated.
The alleged perpetrators have been arrested and the Ghana Police Service have commenced investigations. Beyond the suspension of the competition, authorities say they are also reviewing supervisory lapses to ensure such violence does not recur.
But what we can say is that we are very certain that the severest sanctions must apply to students who are found to have instigated and or actively participated in these acts of lawlessness and hooliganism.
Christabel Success-Trevor, TV3 News, Accra.
And across Ghana, troubling reports of student indiscipline are no longer isolated incidents. They are fast becoming a pattern. From assaults on teachers to violent clashes between students, the sanctity of our senior high schools is being shaken. In this explainer, Judith Brown examines the growing crisis.
What happens when the very institutions meant to shape character begin to mirror chaos? When classrooms designed to nurture leadership become scenes of violence? What's going wrong within our schools? Well, that's the big question on the minds of many following the growing spate of indiscipline among students in various senior high schools right here in Ghana. In recent times, reports of students attacking teachers have raised alarm within Ghana's education sector. The latest incident occurring on Thursday, February 19, at a district school's athletics games, leaving a student of Obratre Senior High Technical School in critical condition after a violent assault by students of the Swedru Business School. Our videos circulating on social media show the student being violently assaulted before he was rushed to the hospital for treatment. Despite the commencement of police investigations, this incident is occurring barely a week after only 3 main suspects, comprising of 2 students and 1 other person, were arrested and remanded to police custody after assaulting a teacher at West Africa Senior High School. Similar incidents have also been reported at Kade SHS involving yet again the assault of a teacher, which led to the conviction and fining of 5 suspects, and Kofredua SHS Technical, where students were accused of attempting to molest a female student, further heightening public concern over safety in schools. But are these punitive actions deterrent enough? Well, as these incidents multiply, so does the fear that discipline, once the backbone of education, is steadily eroding. The Ministry of Education, however, says it will continue to work closely with law enforcement agencies and the judiciary to ensure justice is served and to prevent further incidents of violence against teachers. The question now is not just who is to blame, but what must change. Are parents, school authorities, communities, and policymakers doing enough? And how do we restore discipline without compromising the rights and welfare of students? Judith Brown, TV3 News.
Well, still on education, but away from vices, the National Teaching Council has dismissed reports claiming it has increased the registration fee for its licensure examinations for recent trainees. According to the council, the fee remains 400 cedis, and there has been no increment or suggested in sections of the media.
At a news conference, Chairman of the National Teaching Council, Kwame Alovi, described the reports as inaccurate.
This clause in the NDC manifesto means that the party would abolish the process whereby the trainees had to wait to complete college and wait at home for 1 year before sitting for the examination. The old form of the licensure also involved a 6-hour pencil and paper examination in literacy, numeracy, and essential professional skills. There was no practical assessment.
Kwame Alobi further clarified that the last cohort of trainee teachers who sat for the examinations in October 2025 but were unsuccessful are scheduled to resit the exams in March. He also revealed that the council has formally submitted a proposal to the Minister of Education, Harun Idrisu, seeking approval to designate March each year as the official period for resit examinations for candidates who fail.
The Legon students that were denied, they are writing in March. We sought permission from the minister to allow those who were not successful to write in March with these people. Then I also sent a letter to the minister allowing us to organize for the reciters every March of each year. I'm yet to receive the response from the minister, because it will be unfair for them to write it once and not be given any chance to write.
The National Teaching Council maintains that it remains committed to ensuring fairness and transparency in the conduct of the licensure exams.
And away from education, tomato prices are expected to ease in the coming days following renewed security assurances from authorities in both Ghana and Burkina Faso, paving the way for traders to resume imports. The development comes after the Burkina Faso ambassador engaged Ghanaian authorities, drivers and members of the Tomato Traders and Transporters Association to address concerns over the safety of drivers and traders operating along the Burkina Faso routes. Ibrahim Abubakar has more.
For many Ghanaian households, tomatoes are non-negotiable, and the cost of this staple ingredient is sharply climbing. At the Agbogulshi market, traders say getting them onto the market has become more complicated and increasingly expensive following a recent attack on tomato dealers in Burkina Faso.
We've heard that in places like Kumasi, some markets, they've increased from 30 cedis to tomatoes that used to sell for 30 cedis is now 200 cedis. But is it the same case here?
No.
What is the increment here?
Oh, 100 cedis to 150, 100 cedis to 200.
So what exactly do you think the government can do to help ease the situation so that we can have the tomato prices back to them?
Obaboa ekuafo no farmers na omo Ghana no obetumi abo ho na omo etumi increase the way omo ya farming tomato farming no obo omo so omasen na omo tumi ya farming ni ye ya me sure so obi anyo be fia bako Burkina Faso kra akwafa ntosi aba.
This basket right here, how much is this?
Yes, 400.
400 cedis. And before, how much was this?
Before is 200.
200 cedis before. Right. And so these are all the same. I see. So that's about 100% increment in the price. You said the tomatoes come from Togo, right? Is it the same variety of tomatoes or is
the same? The same, but Navrongo Burkina Faso they are on Esoson. Ya Kasesen Togo dear.
But the quality is the same.
The quality is the same.
Well, I think we have spoken to a couple of them who also maintain the same stance and are saying that the recent attack on some tomato traders in Burkina Faso resulted in this price hike. Well, according to the leader of the tomato traders here at the Millennium Market in Agbogloshi, she's saying that the price hikes are not as much as what is being reported in Kumasi. I am Nura Mohammed reporting for TV3 News.
So that story was about tomato traders at the Agbogloshi market in Accra who are attributing the recent surge in prices to the attack on the tomato dealers in Burkina Faso, which they say has disrupted supply and affected trading activities.
We're still staying on this matters because tomato prices are expected to ease in the coming days following renewed security assurances from authorities in both Ghana and Burkina Faso, paving the way for traders to resume imports. Now, the development comes after the Burkina Faso ambassador engaged Ghanaian authorities, drivers and members of the Tomato Traders and Transporters Association to address concerns over the safety of drivers and traders operating along the Burkina Faso route. Ibrahim Abubakar, he has more in this story.
The recent suspension of import led to an immediate shortage of tomatoes on the market, particularly in major trading centers that rely heavily on supplies from Burkina Faso. As a result, prices shot up within days due to limited supply and high demand.
Rubber 20 Ghana, 30 Ghana, netono 250, 220. Nti stop ye no ne boa ye de pa.
Ibi akofam kakere so sentos. Ya ade a ye de ye eniema ma ne dɔɔso. Eti ama ntos no. Nti se ashort wo sese baabi a.
But the Tomato Traders and Transporters Association has announced a decision to resume import from Burkina Faso. The association says the decision follows engagement involving Burkina Faso and Ghanaian authorities to improve security along the trade routes.
We need each other, so we must go. So today, this evening, the drivers will start entry into Burkina. And as for Ghana, we are safe. The Ghana Security IGP is doing very well, protecting them right from Paga through Boliga, Tamale, down south. But now, the Burkina government is also going to protect our drivers from Paga through Po to Ouagadougou to the various farm gates.
Burkina Faso has reportedly designated safer farm gates for produce collection and commitment to providing security escort from the border through key farming areas. The association believes these measures are sufficient to allow trade to resume while minimizing risk. Reactions among traders have been largely positive, as many are relieved that supply is expected to stabilize and prices may begin to fall within the next few days.
So within 72 hours and above, the prices will start shrinking and it will come to normal.
Because I'm Ghana busy no one agent or Burkina no my share boss border so any other
To bring a lasting solutions to these attacks, the tomato traders are calling on government to establish irrigation facilities to enable all year-round tomato production in Ghana. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Kumasi.
And following a news report on TV3, the Deputy Minister of Agriculture, John Dumelo, has assured pepper farmers at the Zari irrigation farms in the Bolgatanga municipality of government intervention to secure a ready market and promote value addition. Here's reports by Tanko Mohammed Rabiu.
Upon his arrival in Bolgatanga, the Deputy Minister for Agriculture was taken on a tour of the Via Dam project by the Municipal Chief Executive for Bolgatanga, Roland Atanga Ayu, to observe irrigation farming activities in the area. Some of the canals are currently under reconstruction, while others are being desilted, a situation that is affecting the flow of water to the farms. The irrigated land are used for vegetable production, mainly pepper, tomatoes and onions. Farmers undertake year-round irrigation farming using facilities managed by the Irrigation Company of Upper Region through the Via Dam and its canal system. At the pepper farms in Zare, the farmers expressed disappointment over the lack of a ready market for their produce, as well as the inadequate water supply to their farms.
We are thinking government should be coming in to give us some support by way of listening to it, and then maybe they can call marketers for us or whatever. Right. Or the company that is working with us should have been coming in, or the Ministry of Agri, which is very close to us, should be coming in. But it's like all these agencies I'm talking of seems not to have known that we have a problem of a sort. Right.
Every day, we have harvest every day. And they did that to cause scarcity in the cities and cause rot or backlog here. And that is our headache. We try on our own, even years back, to break this chain or this cartel. We can't. And I think it is not value chain, but I believe other food value chain, it is these market queens that are determining the prices. Vulnerable to them.
In response, the Deputy Minister for Agriculture, John Dumelo, sympathized with the farmers and assured them of government's full intervention to address their plight.
We'll work on it as soon as possible. Project and the other project that you mentioned, we are definitely going to work on it. We just have to make sure that there's water on everybody's land by the end of this year so that you can produce more. But producing more also means that we need to add value to it. And so adding value, maybe there can be one or two industries here that can be set up. Mini industries that can process some of the tomatoes and even the pepper so that they'll buy from you, from the farmers, and then you can also have, and then the money will be quick. It will mean that they'll buy for you and then maybe six months time you still don't have your money. So don't worry.
But away from that, the Inspector General of Police, COP Christian Tete Yohonu, has reaffirmed the Ghana Police Service commitment to making life uncomfortable for criminal elements. And this follows the arrest of key members of a deadly car jacking syndicate linked to multiple robberies and murders across the Ashanti and the Western regions.
Addressing the media, the Inspector General of Police disclosed that the breakthrough follows the fatal shooting of one Andrew Samankwa on February 10, 2026 at Oshima Manfrom in Kumasi. The police service immediately activated a coordinated intelligence-led operation involving the Regional Intelligence Directorate, the Anti-Robbery Unit, and the Cyber Vetting Team.
The modus operandi of the syndicate involves identifying and monitoring their target victims and following them until they get opportunity to strike, and when the targets resist or refuse to hand over the vehicle to them, they resort to firing their weapon. It's worth noting that this syndicate has been on the wanted list of the Western Central Regional Police Command at Takwa following a series of incidents involving them. No matter how far they run or how much they hide, we will continue to pursue them to dismantle their activities and bring them to justice.
Between February 18 and 22, police arrested 4 suspects in separate operations across Kumasi. The Ashanti Regional Police Commander, Oseya Kotuatha, identified the group as Duku Syndicate, a notorious car snatching network specializing in Toyota Hilux and Land Cruiser vehicles. Police say the alleged syndicate leader, Eric Entry Duku, sustained gunshot wounds during an operation and was later pronounced dead at the hospital.
The suspects have admitted to multiple robbery operations across Takwa and Kumasi and have provided intelligence regarding the movement of stolen vehicles to the northern border corridor. Investigations are ongoing to identify and arrest additional accomplices, including individuals involved in the disposal of stolen vehicles and the preparation of forged documentation.
The suspects are expected to be arraigned before court in the coming days as investigations continue.
News360 returns with more stories after this break. Don't go away.
I love President charcoal.
Why? When there are so many other charcoal toothpaste.
That's both charcoal and lemon.
Oh, does it?
Yes, look right here.
Yes. President charcoal has two.
Looking at, we are happy how the dollar is, though 2 years ago it's made us a losses. If you see some of our colleagues, they cry. Packaging material, they then get 17 cedis. Now the price is getting reducing, but it's a losses to them a year ago, 2 years ago, big losses. We are playing a critical role in the government sector. We want government to pay attention for 2026, the export sector, so that we can maintain the currency, the balance we have now with the dollar and the cedi. If they're able to do that, it will go a long way to help the country, because agriculture is the backbone of every economy.
Now, President John Dramani Mahama has appointed seasoned customs professional Aaron Kano as acting commissioner of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority with immediate effect, tasking the over 3-decade veteran with deepening revenue mobilization, strengthening border security, and enhancing trade facilitation. The appointment is coming against the backdrop of the Ghana Revenue Authority through its Customs Division intercepting trucks carrying assorted goods, including cooking oil, spaghetti, and tomato paste, declared for transit to Niger. The interception uncovered tax evasion amounting to 85.3 million cedis. Aaron Kano previously served as officer in charge of port operations, where he supervised major customs activities, including enforcement of customs regulations, revenue collection, and trade facilitation. According to the GRA, Mr. Kuno led intelligence-driven operations that helped curb smuggling activities, detect invoice falsification, and dismantle criminal networks involved in vehicle identification manipulation. The seasoned customs professional takes over from Brigadier Glover and Ashnon Annan. Let's bring you updates now from the currency and the commodities market. Before we go, the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PRC, is under mounting pressure to slash electricity tariffs by at least 11% for the first quarter of 2026. The demand follows a damning policy review alleging that Ghanaian consumers overpaid approximately 1.5 billion cedis in the final quarter of 2025 due to grossly overstated economic assumptions.
According to the findings, the 1.14% tariff hike in quarter 4 of 2025 was built on a projected exchange rate of 12 cedis 37 pesos per dollar, inclusive of under-recovery. However, the actual average rate for that period was significantly lower at 10 cedis 87 pesos per dollar. A similar gap was found in inflation data, as PURC projected used 12.43% inflation rate, while the actual in quarter 4 of 2025 was 6.6%. The report issued by the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, CEMSE, argues that the integrity of the quarterly tariff review mechanism is at stake if the regulator fails to pass back savings from a stabilizing economy. Executive Director at CEMSE, Benjamin Insia.
And these estimations, based on our consumption, indicated that Ghanaians overpaid 1.5 billion to the utilities. Surprisingly and unfortunately, on the part of Ghanaians, whilst we were thinking of supporting these utilities, the utilities were not being effective enough to improve their revenue collection. But the base revenue, before these tariff adjustments were done, was the month of April. And the month of April, the revenue was 1.4 billion. As we speak, in the month of August, September, the revenues were still around 1.3 billion.
Speaking on Business Focus, Chairman, Food and Beverage Association of Ghana, John Awuni noted high utility tariffs is hurting businesses.
The way out is not tariff increment. The way out is to improve the efficiency in revenue collection. And not only efficiency in revenue collection, efficiency in the attitude of the workers, of ECG staff themselves. Because apparently, each time you go to the ECG people, you even report a faulty meter, unless you are ready to pay, they would have no ready to fix it. There are too many faulty prepaid meters in the system that are working, that are just operating, giving out power, but yet not recording anything.
And that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. Up next is sports.
When you are going to buy a paint, don't look left, don't look right. Go straight and grab the luxury acrylic paint. No be any paint, be paint.
The Lozi acrylic paint.
Paint champion. When you are going to buy a paint, don't look left, don't look right. Go straight and grab the luxury acrylic paint. No be any paint, be paint.
The Lozi acrylic paint.
Paint champion.
All right, listen up. Colgate is on a mission.
It's kind of a big thing.
Colgate Herbal uses traditional nature's herbs and combines it with Colgate Science for healthy gums and strong teeth.
New Colgate Herbal with Salt combines traditional nature's herbs with a pinch of salt and Colgate Science. A natural recipe for strong teeth and healthy gums.
The Ghana Exim Bank is 10 years old. Hooray! And to commemorate this milestone, the Ghana Exim Bank is hosting a 2-day international conference on the theme, A Decade of Enabling Export Trade and Industrial Transformation, Resetting Gexim for the Next Frontier. The event takes place on the 25th to 26th of March at the Kempinski Hotel, Gold Coast City, 8 a.m. each day. President of the Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, will perform the official opening of the conference. Special guest and speaker.
You buy Sasso insecticide spray and coil.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360 with me, Oreku Ampofo. We begin with our first story where Heart of Oak failed to build on their Super Clash triumph, settling for a goalless draw against Berekum Chelsea, a result that leaves them 5 points behind league leaders Mediama Sporting Club. The result also keeps Masudi Didi Dramani's side in third place with 40 points. We have more details for you in the following report.
3 of the Ghana Premier League has actually ended in disappointment for Accra Heart of Oak fans because they were hoping that their team would continue their good form. They had a win in match 22 against Asante Kotoko, and we're hoping that another win will come against Berekum Chelsea. They have empowered, but they could not score, as goalkeeper Oforientwi, who is a former Heart of Oak player, ensured that Berekum Chelsea leave the University of Ghana Sports Stadium with a point. Heart of Oak fans are disappointed. Their head coach Masudi Didi Dramani says that they need to work harder and a lot of urgency was lacking in their game. For Samuel Boadu and Berekum Chelsea, this is a massive point gain, and it means that they've now gone 3 games in the Ghana Premier League without a defeat. Asante Kotoko also bouncing back to winning ways as they defeated Young Apostles by 2-0, and it's an important win for them because Kotoko, prior to that, had lost their last 2 Ghana Premier League games against Heart of Lions and against Heart of Oak, and needed to bounce back to winning ways. So this victory is actually a good one for them. Now, one game that a lot of people were talking about is that game at Samurai Boy. League leaders Mediama were in action against Samatex. It was a difficult one for Mediama because they drew against Diana in match day 22, and they've never beaten Samatex in Samurai Boy, but they managed to get a point from that game. Other results on the day also saw Baseke Holy Stars beating Swedro All Blacks by a 1-0. And surprisingly, Gold Stars are one of the biggest beneficiaries of match day 23 because they went all the way to Pando to beat Heart of Lions by 2-1. Karela also defeating 11 Wonders. Nations drew 1-1 with Dreams FC. And as you know, Young Apostles were beaten by Asante Kotoko. So there's been a change on the Ghana Premier League table. Mediama are still on top with 45 points. Now Gold Stars have closed the gap to 3 points because after that win, they have 42 points. Heart of Oak have moved to third with 40 points. And Asante Kotoko, bouncing back to winning ways, are now fourth on the league table. Now at the bottom is still 11 Wonders who are occupying 18th and are in danger of being relegated. And Ho United have also dropped into that zone as well. So match day 23 came with a lot of excitement.
Well, let's move on to some more here where Benfica's Gianluca Prestiani has received a provisional 1-match suspension after Real Madrid's Vinicius Jr. reported alleged racist abuse during last week's Champions League playoff meeting. It means the Argentine winger is set to miss the second leg tie in Madrid on Wednesday. UEFA has imposed the ban on a provisional basis pending the result of a full investigation by an ethics and disciplinary inspector. Let's take a look at UEFA's reason for this verdict. And so let's do some more here where Michael Carrick is relishing his role as caretaker boss of Manchester United. Now, since replacing Ruben Amorim last month, Carrick has overseen a remarkable turnaround, collecting 13 points from 5 matches to propel United back into the Premier League's top 4 and reignites belief currently at Old Trafford. The Red Devils face Everton tonight in the final Premier League game of match day 27.
It's good that everyone's asking that question. You know, it shows that we've put ourselves in a good position to start with. I think going back to what I've just said before, really, about we're not getting too carried away now. All of a sudden, after a few weeks, I think it's we know where we're at. We're in a good position. I'd still like to be in a better position, mind you, but we're in a good position and we're positive. I think we should be. You know, I think there's a lot of good things to take and look forward to, really. But then again, it's up to us and putting it into play, really. And yeah, it's possible. It's up to us to take the opportunity.
And so you can get updates of that game, which kicks off at 8 p.m. on our social media handles at 3 Sports. GH, my name is Oreku Ampofo, and Entertainment News is up next.
And Napa Foods, Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil, powered by 3 Entertainment.
Hello and good evening. I'm Esiedua Afeni. It's time for some entertainment updates. Let's get into it. The new season of Talented Kids is underway, offering students from various schools a platform to showcase their talent and creativity on a national stage. With energy, confidence, and originality on full display, the competition continues to raise the bar each week.
Son, they won't build no schools anymore. All they build will be prison.
Following its launch, the new season of Talented Kids continued to give students from various schools the opportunity to showcase their talent and creativity on one big stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shatawale is a legend.
This week's episode was all about freedom of expression as contestants took part in an exciting freestyle night with no rules and no limits. From rappers and dancers to DJs and models, the contestants left no stone unturned in their bid to impress both the judges and the studio audience.
Agbasi, stay away from the throne, Agbasi. Don't say I did not want you.
Brother, what offense have I committed? If there's anything you have to say, then go to Father and say.
Who's your brother, Agbasi? Don't call me your brother.
Look at me. I have a royal blood flowing through my veins. What about you? I don't even know where Father dug you from. Stay away from that one, Agosi.
The highlight of the night came when Ohima Diamond delivered an impressive performance of Agolo by Angelique Kidjo, earning her the Star Performance Award. With energy, confidence and originality on full display, the competition continues to raise the bar each week. In more entertainment stories, the president of the Musicians Union of Ghana, Musiga, Mr. Simon, says the union has formally petitioned government to grant a state-assisted funeral to late gospel legend Diao Sapong. He explained that while only the president can approve such honors, Musiga believes the request is justified given Diao Sapong's immense contribution to Ghanaian gospel music and the country's creative industry. The union has begun engaging the appropriate authorities to ensure he receives a befitting farewell. That's it for entertainment. I'm Esiedu Afini.
It's now time for international news.
Chad closed its eastern border with Sudan until further notice on Monday, saying the move was needed to stop repeated incursions by Sudanese armed groups. The government spokesperson said the decision aimed to protect citizens, but added that exceptional exemptions strictly justified by humanitarian reasons may be granted with prior authorization from the relevant authorities. The closure was announced after heavy fighting erupted in the border town of Altina between Sudan's Rapid Support Forces RSF and the local fighters allied to the Sudanese army. Almost 10 million Sudanese have crossed the border into Chad since the civil war broke out in 2023. At least 25 members of Mexico's National Guard have died during a wave of violence in the state of Jalisco after the killing of a drug lord. Unrest has erupted in at least 20 states since Nemesio Osuguera Cervantes, better known as El Menco, died in custody on Sunday shortly after being captured by Mexican special forces. Mexico has sent 2,500 soldiers to the west of the country to bolster security, Defense Secretary Ricardo Trevilla said on Monday. The Jalisco New Generation Cartel, CGNG, is one of the most feared criminal organizations in Mexico, and its leader was Mexico's most wanted man before his death on Sunday.
And that's it for News 360. Thank you so much for your time. I am Portia Gabo.
My name is Noble Crosby, and there's more news on our website, 3news.com. Please log on for more. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.